Hey folks, Aaron here with another productivity rant for you. Today we're going to talk about email, which I know is your favorite subject in the world, right? And I mean that slightly sarcastically. I have noticed that some people tend to treat email like it's an open conversation. And if I reply, I'm going to get a reply back, and now I have to reply again. But for the most part, email is just a thing that we have to check into every day, maybe multiple times a day, and take care of. I have a foundational system that has been part of my work life for probably 15 years. Gleaned a little bit from articles I read long ago, and through the process of having client projects, or back when I was a designer, or as a podcaster, working with sponsors, working with staff, all of those different pieces. And it's a pretty simple thing. Now, one of the tools that you're going to need to kind of equip for yourself is learning how to create new mailboxes or folders in your email system. Maybe you use Gmail, maybe you're on iCloud, maybe you use a custom URL, like lorepodcast.com, and you've got an email address like contact at, and you've input that into a mail app on your device. For me, I'm on a Mac, I'm on iOS devices, so I use Mail that comes standard with all of them, and you can add accounts in there. All that to say, you need to be able to create new folders in those accounts for this system to work. But here's how I do it. Have you ever seen somebody's home screen and you look at the mail icon and it says something like, it's got the little red badge. It says 10,483. It's usually a sign that person has Gmail installed in their mail app, right? And it means that they're keeping everything that ever lands in their Gmail account inside their inbox. There's a way around this, and that is when it hits your inbox, there's an email that has just come in. There are things that you can do with that email. One of them is just delete it, right? It's spam, or it's a newsletter that you read and then you're done with, and you want to hit delete on it. So standard, as a stock folder, you already have a deleted folder. You probably already have a spam folder, and obviously you have an inbox. I recommend creating 2 more folders at the very basic level. One of them is going to say hold for later, and that's what I think of as a reference folder. Maybe it has the Apple Care information for a laptop that I bought 6 months ago, or perhaps it has concert information for tickets that I bought a year out, and I don't want to forget about the information or lose it, so I've stuck it in the hold for later folder. That's the first one, hold for later. The second folder you create is just called archive. Just give it something that lets you know that it's not for referencing, but at least to have it on hand if you ever need to search for it. So the way things work for me is when an email hits my inbox, if I can delete it, I delete it. I get rid of it, right? Why have it around? But sometimes you need to act upon that email. Now, if it's something you can act on immediately, do so. Now, I have some complex folder systems. I have a general folder. I have an errand folder. That's just like my professional stuff. I have one for my sponsor interactions. I have one for working with my agent, publishing, all that kind of stuff. But at the general level, if you're done with that email, move it to your archive folder. You have it on hand if you ever need it, but you've moved it. Second, you get an email, you look at it, and you realize that you need to act on it, but it's going to need a little bit more work than that. And that's basically anything that's not immediate, right? It could be just later that day. It could require you to wait a couple of days until a certain thing happens, and then you'll have the information, and then you can respond. I keep it in my inbox, but I flag it. Now, there are hotkeys for this depending on the app that you use, or you can go up to something in the menu that says like message flag, right? Just flag it. Don't get picky about colors. Use the stock color that comes with it, whatever it is. You don't want to get fancy. Just if you need to act on it, but you can't right now, it has to stay in your inbox, and you put a flag on it, okay? Now, if you get an email and you've responded, but you are waiting for someone to get back to you, I might actually leave that email in my inbox just as a way to tell me I haven't flagged it. I don't have to do anything, but it's there to remind me that, oh, I replied to them, but I never got an answer to my question. So, it's been a few days. I should reach back out to them. So you get an email. If it can be deleted, delete it. If it needs action right away, take care of that, respond, give them the answer, the file, whatever it might be, and move that to your archive. If you get it, you've read it, and you need it for reference, move it to your hold folder. And if you can't act on it right now, but it's waiting for you, give it a flag, leave it in your inbox. And that way, the only thing that's ever really in your inbox is stuff that you have to act on or stuff you're waiting on, right? And you've moved everything else out of the way. And it's as simple with modern technology as going up to the search bar and typing in the words that you're looking for, and it'll find that email in the archive folder. It'll find it in your hold folder, whatever you need. Although I will say that every 6 months or so, I go into my hold folder and I sort of clean it out. I say, oh, I've used that concert ticket information. Let me move that to my archive. Or that thing is no longer important to me. I can delete that, and you can clean out your hold folder. It's a lot better than having an inbox that makes you feel deep anxiety and panic every time you open it, or that red badge that says 10,000 some odd emails. Why crush yourself with that sort of ongoing constant anxiety when every time an email comes in, you have a very simple choice to make? Is it something I can get rid of right now, or is it something I need to leave in my inbox right now? And hopefully by doing that, you never have more than a handful of emails in your inbox. You are on top of things and you're good to go. The only other advice that I would give you about email, just in general, is unless your job utterly requires super timely responses, I think you can get away with maybe twice a day checking the email and doing the things that we've talked about here. You don't need to see a red badge or get a notification and immediately jump in and do that. Don't let it pull you out of what you're doing. And if it helps you and you're on a desktop computer or a laptop, quit the mail app and maybe just check in once a day, twice a day, whatever it is. Do it in the morning, do it right after lunchtime, and do it at the end of the day. Like, find a schedule that works for you and stick with it. But you don't need to constantly be jumping in there and doing stuff. That's it for today. I'll see you folks next time. Cheers.